Hello everybody, nice day here in the UK, springtime. I'm going to tell you about one of my, well, the only last initiation I think for the time being in this lifetime maybe. There are many initiations in lives, many lifetimes, you go through many different initiations. This was the last one I felt as a sort of completion time, as somebody said. Many years ago, I think I've done a video on this already, the initiation of the High Priestess in Egypt. But I'm going to tell you briefly about that again because it was to do with, I did have a final initiation. You're supposed to spend 3 days in a sarcophagus on your own. And they're big things, I mean solid lids, solid concrete. And you're put into this thing and you lie there. And you're supposed to go through a death experience, to go into the afterlife and out again in a 3-day initiation. Well, unfortunately, some jealous priestess put a python in with me, and because it crawled up and strangled me and I died. So I never did complete that initiation in that lifetime. And it's a very important one. It's the last one that, you've arrived so in that particular theory. So anyway, quite recently, I think, well, we've all been going some peculiar times. I mean, we've all got stories to tell, I'm sure. But quite recently, I've had like a full-on day by day revelation. It's actually worn me out, but there is a purpose to it. So I think it's a few days ago, maybe a week ago, I don't know, that I had this, I was taken to, it was a vista, I can't describe it any other way, a fantastic vista of, well, it was vast, you couldn't imagine it in your mind. It was just mountains and scenery, rivers and lakes, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And when I came out of that, the thought that came to me was ascension. Now, we're all meant to be heading for ascension. I don't know whether that was true or not, I really can't say. But that was one vision I had that was really quite overwhelming. And I can still see it now, and if I get really fed up with life, I just go to bed and think of it. The second one, which was I think the most powerful one, was only a few days ago when, I mean, some people say it was a illusion. It wasn't. I was travelling, definitely travelling at very great speed, quite a distance, and it was into the cosmos. It was a vast, you couldn't say where you were, it was just this vastness, absolute. But as I was travelling, I can only describe it that I remembered how it was to leave, to die. Obviously I've done that many lifetimes, many times, but I could remember it, and it was such a strong feeling. I thought, gosh, this is it. Have I left everything in order? Is the cat out? Not I've got a cat. Well, you know what I mean? The thoughts would come into my head. Do I have everything in order? Have I locked the door? Stuff I've gone on holiday. And I can remember leaving everything behind. I can't say it wasn't a frightening experience, but it was a feeling of, well, that's it then, that's it. And it was such a strong feeling of remembering this ending, this death experience. I didn't go anywhere. It was just a feeling that I'd been through before. And so on I travelled, I don't know where I went ultimately, but it was just this feeling of, well, of course, for me at my age, it won't be long anyway. And I was fully convinced that was it. So I feel quite tearful talking about it, actually, because it was a very moving experience. And then, of course, I woke up. And, of course, what comes to mind is, well, I think I've said this before, which is the real world. I think one of my videos is about, this is the illusion, because I was aware that I was leaving behind everything that really wasn't real. And going into reality. It was a little bit unnerving, I must admit, because I realised that I'd done all I could, and there was a lot more to do maybe. I don't know what it really meant, but there's a lot of feelings came up about, well, that's it then, the end of the road. So I can't remember what happened when I woke up, but it did actually shake me for quite a few days. I thought, well, maybe I should make a list. My funeral requests, and all that. I've done that. But it was really quite, so I felt, and as I'm now thinking about it and talking to somebody about it, I felt that was the final initiation, the one that I should have taken thousands of years, I don't know when, 2 or 3 thousand maybe, 2 or 3 thousand years ago, I couldn't complete it. And there's a book called, oh, I can't find it now, Elizabeth Haich, brilliant writer, and she's written about her real life experiences of her initiations in Egypt and so forth, and how she's had to complete a lifetime on doing this sort of experiencing the things she didn't experience in Egypt. It's a very good book, Elizabeth Haich. If anyone's interested in Egyptology, that's one to read. And when I remembered that, gosh, that's similar to what I've been through actually, because you do have to complete it at some point. So it felt to me like this was the final, for this particular experience, this particular round, if you like. I'm sure there are a lot more. We never end, do we? We never end. It goes on and on, and in a way it's reassuring. So yeah, I don't know quite what effect it will have on me actually. I do hope it will bring some money. Well, it's bound to change. I mean, when you change the inside, it's bound to change the external, isn't it? Don't you think? So I just hope this is the end of my particular struggles, because I think we are all now almost in the fifth dimension, which is a completely different way of being. I've found it anyway. I've not found it any easier, but I think it is easier to manifest, and it is easier to realise what you think will be. So that's a new learning curve, really. Then of course the ascension. So I don't know. I talked to a couple of, should we say, like-minded people. They say it wasn't, but I don't know. Lots of us are ascending. So what it means or how I would feel, I don't know. Apparently you'd stop growing your hair and all sorts of wonderful things happen. So I'm waiting to see. Watch this space. I do think probably my third eye is a bit more, clairvoyantly I'm a bit more developed. I don't know. It's different for everybody, of course, but I did finally realise, well, I've done it. I've completed that initiation with no pythons in sight. No jealous priestesses. I'm sitting here on my own, quite fortunate really. I'm very lucky to have, I don't know how people, I thought about it, how people that are going through this sort of thing, we are all awakening. I said last time the DNA is being adjusted, the nervous system's crashing and all sorts of peculiar things happening. So I don't know how people do this when they are having to go to work every day or have families, because I'm very fortunate. I can go to bed if I want to, sit here and meditate and go into the vista, It's a danger actually of becoming a little bit ungrounded, because when I go out there into the world, I can't cope with the noise of traffic. I'm in a very quiet village anyway, but traffic noise, people talking. The lockdown for me was luxury. Nobody about, no people to talk and run into you, and all the stuff that humanity does. I quite enjoyed it. I can't say I miss the life really, because I don't do anything now. I ought to really get up and do something. I'd like to. I can't do my garden because I've not been very well, as you know. So I don't know how much to go on really, because you know what I'm like. I do kind of diversify, but maybe that's enough for today. What time is it? Oh, we've had 8 minutes. Why, yeah, 9 minutes. So, anyway, I hope that's clear. I say I'm not 100% well today. So we had a full moon, which has been very tricky, don't you think? And full moons always affect me. I go very, solar flares. Well, we get solar flares, CMEs, all that business. Anyway, I'm going to let you go now. I'm going to see if this is okay and probably send it. Any questions, any queries, do write to me. I'd like to hear from you. So here I go, newly initiated. I don't know what it means. We'll have to wait and see. Take care of yourselves, dear ones. God bless for now.